Hello everyone, Prime here. Today we're going to be talking about the worst things that mages have done. Take our Porsche for instance. He scared the devil out of people and was one of the lords of Xibalba who enjoyed hosting trials and tribulations that were pretty much nightmares for any deceased person to deal with. Now he was a god of death, so scaring people I suppose you could say came with the job, except for the fact that Thanatos didn't exactly do that. So it wasn't really all that necessary, but hey, he did it. Ao Kuang refused to give his people rainfall, and when a child who had wronged his family was sacrificed, he still refused to give them much needed water. Now to be fair, this child, when I say wronged his family, I mean murder, but still a bit of a dick move. Aphrodite's is more or less summed up by how a few of these gods are going to be summed up, and that's that she was more or less a thought. She slept around behind her husband's back, and if that wasn't enough, she had to be queen of beauty, essentially, and contributed to a very bloody and very violent war.
Baron Samedi.
Now, I don't really have anything concrete on Baron Samedi per se, but he was a sexually driven, lustful lower spirit. And whilst it's not exactly said that he necessarily crossed the boundaries and followed the Greeks' example with anyone, he was the type of god that sort of did whatever he felt like doing, so I wouldn't put it past him. On variations of her story, Chang'e actually decides to chug down the entire elixir of immortality out of greed and leaves Hou Yi to sort of fiddle with his fingers. The sad thing about this is that Hou Yi was recovering from this massively heroic journey just from getting this very elixir, and then Chang'e drinks it. Of course, that is just a variation of the story. Others make her out to be a victim who sort of has to drink it, but yeah.
Discordia.
Besides being a pest, she was responsible for causing one of the bloodiest conflicts in the myths, just because she wasn't invited to a wedding. That does sound pretty terrible, doesn't it? But does it really compare to someone who kidnapped his wife, or future wife, Persephone, keeping her in the underworld before she relented and then became his actual wife? I'll let you decide. Thorea was more or less a thought, and betrayed her husband for a necklace. Hel refused to return Balder, contributing to the beginning of Ragnarok. But to be fair, she actually did do this in a fair way. She said that pretty much everything in existence had to like the light. One thing didn't, so she refused to return it. But she still refused to return it. Kukulkan decided that a tasty treat of human sacrifices was a fine enough diet for a being such as himself, and, well, dined on people as sacrifices, but still not particularly nice.
Nua.
Now Nua, in all of her godly wisdom, unleashed a sadistic fox spirit that was really supposed to punish a specific king, but instead, or in the process of punishing that king, several innocents were punished and tortured by this fox spirit, and this went on for many years until the dynasty was finally ended, but the loss of life and the whole process that was gone about in doing this, when literally she could have gone with a better way of punishing Zhao, like giving him some awful disease that would have made his life very uncomfortable for years on end. Over one incident of disrespect, it's a bit much. Now Poseidon is a bit like Baron Samedi, except his acts are actually confirmed. Be that upsetting Ares, ruining some other god's life, or just simply being Poseidon, he was a bit of a dick. And he had a temper. Not a very good combination. In other words, he slept around a lot with or without permission from the people he was sleeping with. Now similar to Nua, Ra loosens a dangerous being upon humanity, but unlike Nua, or at least sooner than Nua does, he takes pity on humans and realizes that he went a bit overkill. Now humans still suffer immeasurably, many are slaughtered by this deity, but he puts a stop to it by getting her drunk. Does that make Ra better or the same as Nua in that case? Too sure. If you've ever been struck by lightning, I guess you can thank this guy. Scylla liked to wreck ships for fun, so not much explanation as to why she gets to be here. Sol, well, she's responsible for the sun doing its job, and whilst yes, the sun is a necessary part of human life, and we need it very much, that's a pretty tough sell during a heatwave. Then again, I suppose her service is kind of forced, so I guess that sort of makes up for it in a sick, twisted way. Speaking of sick and twisted things, The Morrigan caused the death of a hero who didn't even reach 20 because he rejected her. She took away half of his powers, made him beat up a fairly unequal opponent, and then he lost his life in a multi-fight. So he was embarrassed. Oh, she also made him eat a dog, which he swore not to do, so yes, she's a bit of a dick. Vulcan failed to make certain advances towards Athena, and then still being defeated, actually somehow managed to make a child with Terra. It's definitely a nastier story than I'm making it out to be. And last but not least, because I don't have that much for Kronos or Zhonghui, besides the fact that Zhonghui would have, of course, broken the rules by committing suicide, hence why he ended up in the underworld, but, Zeus has too many to count. But Zeus also balances it out. Like, a lot of these gods actually do balance all of their wrongdoings out. But yes, that was the video. Do you agree? Do you think there are more vile things that these mages have done that should have just been replaced or at least brought up? Let me know in the comment section below, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that big red button. And until the next one, have a very good day. I have been Prime, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.